Hello, my name is Julie Lewis, and today I'd like to talk to you about the laws of suggestion. Now, these are a set of theories that govern our understanding of how suggestion works and affects our mind. They were first put forward by Émile Coué, a French psychologist and pharmacist who was an early pioneer of hypnotherapy and the pioneer of self-affirmation. His work forms the basis of what we call ego strengthening in hypnotherapy, which is embodied in his every day, in every way, I'm getting better affirmation. He was the one who began to explore how suggestion worked on the mind, and as a result, he came up with 3 laws that help us understand what has been going on. The first law is the law of concentrated attention. This is essentially, as it states, you get what you concentrate on. Working with someone by constantly repeating a positive suggestion, this aims to get the person to focus on the content of that suggestion and the positivity that it's aimed at creating. Because the client is concentrating on these suggestions, the brain is more likely to take these in and create reality based on these suggestions. This particular law works through what's known as the reticular activating system. This is a set of structures within the brain that, when they're working together, are known as the reticular activating system. These include things like the brainstem at the bottom of the brain and the cerebellum at the back of the brain, and also more complex elements such as our cortex, the thalamus and hypothalamus, all of which come together to create what we call the reticular activating system. Now, the reticular activating system has a wide range of functions. The function most relevant to us at the moment is that when we become aware of something and of it being important to us, we begin to see it within our environment. An example might be of something you begin to think of buying. Having raised your awareness as you've been thinking of buying, for example, a new car, you begin to notice the colour, the make and the model of car that you want to buy all around you, where you've never noticed them before. Because you've begun to think of buying a particular make or model of car, it doesn't mean that more have suddenly appeared in your environment, but what's actually happened is that when you start thinking about buying this particular car, your reticular activating system is activated, and you become aware of this type of car in your environment. This is a survival mechanism from our primitive origins that allows us to become aware of threats and to look for these threats in our environment. This is helpful in terms of survival, but in therapy it also becomes an important tool. We can see the effect of the reticular activating system happening in people coming to see us for therapy. Often, people coming to see us for therapy are caught up in concentrating on their problem, and in effect, they get what they concentrate on. As a result, this becomes a reality they create in their minds. For example, a hypochondriac may notice something slightly wrong with them. They concentrate on this, and as a result, what they focus on becomes magnified and creates a reality out of their illness. In hypnotherapy, we are trying to focus clients on creating positive outcomes. When we use ego-strengthening techniques, we are looking to activate the reticular activating system and get clients to notice more of the positives around them. We will talk a lot about ego-strengthening throughout the course. Using ego-strengthening, we throw positive suggestion after positive suggestion into the therapy, such as every day you're feeling calmer, more positive, have a greater sense of security, and on and on. This allows the client to focus and concentrate on making these positive suggestions part of their mindset and to create them in actual reality. It's a similar process with goal setting, where people begin to focus and concentrate on what they want in terms of a goal, and this helps them to take the steps required to achieve their goals. Thinking about the goal you wish to meet helps to create the reality. However, we all know thinking alone doesn't get you there. You've got to act on these thoughts. Suggestion, using the law of concentrated attention, helps people to focus on their goals and the steps they need to take to meet these. We use suggestions in hypnosis to help them to gain the motivation to take the necessary steps and to apply these in their everyday lives. The law of concentrated attention is used in many of our inductions. For example, one you will learn this weekend, the progressive relaxation induction. Throughout the script, the word relax is repeatedly used to direct the client's attention to the feelings of relaxation the induction is designed to create. For example, first, the muscles of your feet and ankles. Let them relax. Let them go completely relaxed. Now the muscles of your calves. Let them go completely relaxed, etc., etc. This constant repetition engages the law of concentrated attention, and the person begins to act out the suggestion, and the body starts to relax as they drift into trance. The second law we're going to talk about is the law of reversed effect, and this is an interesting one. The harder you try to do something, the more difficult it becomes. You only have to think of trying to get someone to do their washing up. The harder you try to get them to do this, then the more they seem to get involved in any other task, basically needing to do anything else. In therapy, this law is closely related to people presenting with sleep problems. Insomniacs are experts at applying the law of reversed effect. What they're trying to do is force themselves to go to sleep, and as they do this, the more awake they become. In hypnotherapy, we can take the strategy and use the law of reversed effect for therapeutic benefit. One common suggestion we give for the person experiencing insomnia is for them to try to stay awake. Now, this might sound counterproductive, but we're actually using the same strategy that's keeping them awake to help them to actually go to sleep. Remember, they're telling themselves to go to sleep in an attempt to force themselves to go to sleep, which has the opposite effect, the outcome of keeping them awake. So therapeutically, we use the same law of reverse effect strategy to help them sleep, by suggesting that the harder they try to stay awake, the drowsier they become, which has the opposite outcome of helping them go to sleep. Dieting is another area where the law of reversed effect can be associated with difficulties in losing weight. Often, the harder a client tries to eat a healthy, more balanced diet, the more attractive and tempting unhealthy foods become. If we believe this unconscious law of reverse suggestion strategy is underlying sabotaging behaviour which stops the client from eating healthy food, then we can counteract this by suggesting the more the client tries to eat unhealthy food, the more attractive and appealing healthy and nutritious foods become, helping them towards their goal of eating more healthily. Certain inductions also incorporate the laws of reverse suggestion. For example, the harder you try to move your arm off the lap, the more difficult it becomes, and so the more relaxed you become. The final law of suggestion is the law of dominant effect. This states that stronger emotions replace weaker ones. We have a group of emotions that are incompatible with anxiety. These are, for example, hunger, thirst, sexual arousal and relaxation, all of which are incompatible with feelings of anxiety. In hypnotherapy, we can bring in such stronger emotions to combat anxiety. As you might imagine, the emotion we use a lot in hypnotherapy is relaxation. As you go through the course, you'll become aware that we use relaxation a lot in lots of our inductions. It's impossible to be relaxed and feel anxious, so we aim to turn up the feelings of relaxation in order to weaken the effect of anxiety. The more relaxed a client becomes, the harder it is for them to feel anxious. It replaces this anxiety, weakening the sense of anxiety and increasing the feelings of relaxation. We can perhaps suggest in trance, when dealing with issues such as performance anxiety, that the client might feel instead a little hungry or thirsty rather than anxious. When we are working with psychosexual disorders, perhaps with people who are having anxiety-based problems around sexual performance, we may use suggestions based around sexual arousal. This is of course used very ethically and appropriately, and it's something we talk about more in our advanced courses. However, generally we use the concept of relaxation in the course of therapy. For example, in the case of phobias, where perhaps people feel anxious when seeing a dog, we'll work with them to provoke a feeling of relaxation associated with a variety of situations in which they are fearful of seeing or meeting dogs. This will start with us asking them to imagine the least fearful situation, perhaps low-level anxiety on seeing a picture of a dog, and being able to imagine this while experiencing a feeling of relaxation. Gradually, we can then work through a variety of imagined situations which have previously caused increasing levels of anxiety, and continue to pair these imagined situations with a relaxation response until the client is able to comfortably imagine a scenario such as tolerating or even stroking a dog whilst remaining calm. And then they transfer this behaviour into real life. On this course, you'll learn several techniques to help clients deal with anxieties and phobias which are based on pairing feelings of relaxation with imagined anxiety-provoking situations, in order that the relaxation feeling comes to dominate and replace their previous excessive anxiety response. This is a classic use of the law of dominant effect. Anxiety and relaxation cannot exist side by side. This means that when faced with a previously phobic situation or anxiety-provoking stimulus, the client can remain calm and react in a calm fashion. So to sum up, the laws of suggestion are about understanding how the mind works and how these laws are relevant in creating or maintaining problems. Also, how using these in hypnotherapy allow us to help our clients to overcome their problems. It's worth remembering that not every person is affected all the time by all of these laws of suggestion. The laws of suggestion apply to a variety of different problems in a variety of different ways. As you go through the course, you'll become aware of how these might affect the issues your client presents with, but also how you can use elements of these laws to help your clients overcome their issues. Perhaps you might also consider how the laws of suggestion are affecting you in your life and how they're affecting those around you in their lives. This will help you to hone your skills in identifying how the laws of suggestion might be relevant to creating or maintaining your client's problems. Also, equally importantly, how using the laws of suggestion in hypnotherapy allows us to help our clients to overcome their problems.